337. कह पंडितः सन् सत्सत् विवेकी श्रुति प्रमाण परमार्थदर्शी जानन् हि कुर्यात् असतोपलम्बम् स्वपात हेतोः शिशुवन् मुमुक्षुः. So here in this verse, very carefully, that even if great people, how also they succumb to the downfall, they lose the track of themselves, is being highlighted. And that too, sometimes they behave very funny in unpredictable way. Why it happens? So here it says, look, that kaha panditah sa, even the person who is a learned person. So panda yasya asti iti, the one who has done Sravanam, Mananam, Nitidhyasanam also little bit, not that completely away, because remember, there are two schools of understanding, I can say philosophy here, schools of understanding. So one group of, in Brahma Sutra sometimes we will see this particular point in elaborately. So one group highlights, that's called Bhamatikara, Tikakara Bhamati. So Bhamatikara highlights that Sravanam, Mananam and Nitidhyasanam are independent, separate. So first you do Sravanam, then you do Mananam, then you do Nitidhyasanam. Whereas Adi Shankaracharya very clearly highlights that in Shravanam there is Mananam and also Nitidhyasanam. So in Shravanam itself, Mananam and Nitidhyasanam are included. One may choose to do Nitidhyasanam separately, but Nitidhyasanam by itself is not separate from Mananam. This is a very true way of thinking. It's a very big discussion continues in especially Brahma Sutra. In fact, Pujya Swamiji used to go one more step ahead to point out Bhamatikara. Yes, if you look at that Sravanam, Mananam and Nitidhyasanam are independent, they are separated. So it will be like, how a cow gets a lot of straw or grass and starts chewing, thinking that I may not get tomorrow, I may not get the next moment. So eats as much as possible. After eating, what happens? Leisurely lies down and again brings it back and starts chewing. So like that, so you do the Sravanam and in your leisure time, bring back and do Nitidhyasanam. This is Pujya Swamiji's way of, ridiculing this concept. However, we make it very carefully that this Shravanam, Mananam, Nitidhyasanam, even though are one, but if the mind is not prepared, definitely that mind cannot do, or Nitidhyasana will not happen, will not take place in that mind. So the preparedness of the mind determines the Nitidhyasana aspect. Because logically everything can be convincing. Because mananam is included in Shravana, because the teacher and the methodology of teaching itself will give you logic. Whatever logic you have definitely will be destroyed through the scriptural logic. But if the mind is not prepared, definitely nitidhyasanam will not be that easy. So here is a verse that the nitidhyasanam is not easy or comfortable or not that strong in a person. So that person is called a pandita. So there is some type of lack of preparedness. There is mind is not ready yet. But the person has done Shravanam, Mananam too. So looking at that point, now let us look at the verse so that it becomes easier. So Kaha Pandita San Asat Viveki, and that too Sudhi Pramana Paramarsa Darshi Jananihi Kriya Asataha Avalambam Iti. So that means it's very difficult, very rare, but still it may happen. So there is a probability, there is a possibility. So what is that possibility, probability? That every person is a learned person, looks at that Shruti as Praman, Veda as Praman. And of course, Paramarthadarshi understands what is the truth. And you think that, and of course, Sat Asat Viveki, he is a discriminative person, and his discrimination is equally stronger with reference to what is real and what is unreal. But this Janan hi Kriya Avalambanam Asataha Avalambanam iti. Now, how is it possible if you look at this person? The one who is all these things knowingly, how can he make asat avalambanam? That means making the unreal thing, making the falsehood as his object of goal or target or pursuit. And if that happens, says what? Sopata hetoho. So he becomes the cause of, killing his, we said, cutting his own leg, chopping his own hand. So he becomes the cause of his own downfall. Sopata hetoho, destruction. Cause of his own destruction. And how? He gives the example, Shishuvat, like a child. So that means what? Please understand. Here, how a child, without knowing, brings a lot of destruction into his or her life. That's why child is supposed to be guarded too. Because if the child is not guided and guarded, definitely child is going to bring a lot of destruction to himself or herself. Because child doesn't understand whatever is fascinating, child goes for it. And as it happens, even if a person is a pandita, so even if that person is a mumukshu, seeker of liberation, he has all these things at his disposal. But there is a possibility we can look at that knowingly, consciously, the person runs behind unreal thing. Then what happens? Okay, we said Prabhala Prarabdha, we talk a lot of other aspects, okay? Let us not get into that aspect, okay? Please, here that is not the topic. Topic is here. If this happens, Now what happens? Very clear. Definitely that person is going to destroy one's oneself. So it is being communicated very carefully that at no time I can make unreal as my object of pursuit. Or you can say, I cannot make unreal thing as my topmost priority in my life. Remember, just today you look at what is your priority. You can, in the night, you can sit down, start looking at what was your priority. Topmost priority, second, third, at least 3 priorities, make it. And for tomorrow also please make a priority. What is the first priority? Whole day. Second priority and third priority. Night again try to revise. That what you write tonight, that as your top priority for tomorrow, whether whole day you could maintain or not. And why you could not maintain. That also you need to. Because trying to understand how the priority changes. In fact, priority doesn't changes. Your understanding towards the priority changes. Can you see this point? Priority never changes. Priority is priority. But my understanding towards priority changes. And based on the priority, my day moves, my mood changes, everything changes. Can you see this point? In fact, all my priority is completely based on sense of insecurity. And interestingly, all this insecurity is nothing but injected by someone. It is completely injected, no doubt in it, including going to a dentist. I'm not telling you jokes, okay? Whether you go to a dentist or ENT, whatever, makes no difference, okay? So everything is completely based on what? Again, injected thought. It is completely injected. If I don't go, what will happen? So everything is being injected so deeply, without our knowledge, we are forced. So that's why here is being said, how come a Jnani, a Mumukshu, will make unreal thing as the object or topmost priority, object of pursuit or topmost priority of his or her life? It doesn't go well. If it happens by chance, definitely that becomes the cause of one's own destruction. That's why we say, as long as you are not exposed to Vedanta systematically, properly, that long you are a great person. The moment you are exposed to Vedanta systematically, you are a gone case. I'm telling you, this is the certificate I can give you. Whether you accept it or not, I don't know, okay? In fact, you can have a certificate. I am a gone case. Swami's date. Put my name and date, okay? Okay? So I think this is the best certificate you can have, okay? In your, especially on your bedroom. Don't put in the drawing room, okay? God's sake, don't make this mistake, okay? So people will start judging. I am a gone case. And if you are married, never ever put in the bedroom also, okay? Only put in your mind. Or else your wife or husband will say, hey, look, you are a gone case. I knew it. However, joke apart. So coming to the point here, that like a child, how the child does, same thing also will happen to me, to myself. So that means I cannot afford to change my priority. Even if it changes because of something or other, please understand this is the point. Even if it changes because of something or other or lack of nitidhyasana, I must evaluate time to time. Next verse. Dehadi sankti mato na muktihi muktasya dehadhyabhimatya bhavaha suptasya no jagaranam na jagrataha स्वप्नस्तयोर्भिन्न गुणाश्रयत्वात्. Goes one step ahead. Hey, look, this is not going to happen. If it happens, there is something seriously wrong. Because if you say you are liberated, because you are a mukta purusha. He says muktasya means mukta purushasya, the person who is liberated. For that person, dehadi sansakti mataha na astiti. Because the one who is a liberated person, that person cannot have any attachment towards the body-mind complex and related to body-mind complex. In fact, the person cannot have attachment towards anything or anybody. So if the person is having attachment towards the body-mind complex, you cannot call that person as a wise person either. That's why a wise person cannot make a will. Remember this very carefully. A wise person cannot make a will, should not make a will. If you ask me, I am making it very clear, okay? A wise person must not make a will, should not make a will. If the wise person makes a will, that means that person is neither a wise. I am not telling, okay? If Viveka Chudamani talks, okay? This is Adi Shankaracharya version, okay? Not mine, okay? I am making it very clear. Why? And I'll give you later on. He says, look, Suptasya no jagaranam no jagratha swapna tayo bhinna guna asrayatvatiti. It's very simple logic it puts. Why? The one who is asleep, Suptasya, the person who is the man of sleeping, definitely for that person, there is never jagaranam. That time the person cannot be in waking state. And when you are in waking state, for the man who is in waking state, of course swapna means sleep or dream, both is not possible. Tayoho, these two are not possible. Why? Bhinna guna asrayatvat, unless you are a sleepwalker, okay? That is another point. So that comes under exception, okay? Please understand. Tayoho, bhinna guna asrayatvat, being contradictory to each other. So that's why a wise person cannot, should not, must not make a will. Because nowadays, all these Swamijis, they make will very well, okay? They call themselves as wise and they make will, okay? See, at least I can give a benefit of doubt to a Swami. If the Swami makes a will on organization, because in organization means there is a lot of politics. You do not know who is going to boss over what, because you didn't want to get into controversy. Okay, fine. I understand you can make a will on organization. But if you call yourself a Jnani or others call you Jnani or you have benefit of doubt of being a Jnani, at least don't make a will on your body. Because there are people, they say, they express their wish. After my death, what is to be done? So, my eyes to be donated. Bodies are to be donated. This is another nuisance, okay, let me not get into that. Like, a religious person in India will tell very nicely, this is what, because I have heard from my childhood, grandparents have told, when I die, you have to keep the bone, not even if it's body, okay, body you cannot keep. You have to keep one bone after, burning, keep it, and after that you have to take to the Triveni Sangama, Prayagraj. So there you have to put it and do rituals. I can understand, because they understand because some punya will come, so that's why they make sure that through the bone they want to exist, you understand? That's why almost in every houses they keep the bone and they put that bone in Ganges. So it is, almost every house in India, almost, especially those who are Hindus in short. So I can understand the poor fellow is not sure about his punya valam. So he expects that at least through these rituals, so my soul or I will be in a different, my soul, right word. So my soul will be a better loka, or at least I will have a better body later on. That is understood. But if a Swami, after taking sannyasa, and also who claims to be a wise, or people call him or her as wise, makes a will, after my death, these are the things should happen to my body. Somebody will say, my body to be given Jala Samadhi. Somebody will say, my body to be burnt. There are some people. Somebody will know, there should be Bhu Samadhi. And somebody will say, there is nothing and nobody should touch me. Or these are not nobody. These are the people, that is the worst will I have ever come across in my life. These are the people must not touch my body. That means you had lot of hatred. And if you have hatred, how can you call that you are a wise person? Can you see this point? First of all, you cannot say this is your body. A common language, okay? And again, why talking that body? And these are the people should not touch. All these are completely communicates the person does not know what he is talking. Or under the spell of something. Because both are contradicting. Can you see this point? So that we have to be very clear and careful. Why I am talking this point to you? I am talking to myself, okay? So tomorrow I should not make this mistake, okay? So if I make this mistake, please replay this talk, okay? Please record it and replay it very carefully. Swamiji, in 2021, you spoke very loudly. Please, please and please don't do the same thing. This is my request to all of you. Coming back, if this is the case, that's why one has to be very clear and careful. Because when you become, let us say, role model for others, especially when a person becomes a guru, becomes automatically a role model. And whatever that person does, so everybody follows. And I have a favorite fellow, bald-headed fellow, so he had his own fancies. Putting dhoti halfway, no watch. He had his own fancies, to be very honest. And he wanted to drink every day one particular milk, goat milk. So they have to search goat. And it's a very expensive affair. You cannot think of the amount of money was being spent for goat milk, you cannot think of. So he had his own fancies, nothing wrong in it. Each one, I have my own fancies, okay? Just I am telling that these are my fancies, I can understand, okay? But once I become a role model, this is my point, people will start following me. So once people start following me, if I do not create a good habit, if I do not become a good example for the society, now tell me what is going to happen. Don't you think that I become the cause of destruction or destroying the values of the society? This is my responsibility, whether I like it or not. That is what is being highlighted in this verse. Okay, if this is the case, let us look at the next verse. There are few verses, goes little differently. Let us look at Antar Bahishram Stirajangameshu Gyatvatmana Dharataya Vilokya Tyaktva Khilopadhirakhanda Rupaha Purnatmana Yah Stita Esa Muktaha. Says beautifully, Anta Vahi Swam Stira Jangamesu Gyatva Atmana Adharataya Vilokya Tyakta Akhila Upahadi Akhanda Rupaha Purnatmana Yahastitaha Sa Eshaha Mukta Iti. It's a very straight word which you cannot change. That person is Muktaha, is a liberated person. And who is that person? So the person Yahastitaha, the one who remains, the one who abides. So where does the person abides? Purnatmana. So Atma as Purnam, the self as full, complete. So the person who does not remain in organization, the one who does not remain even if on Shastra, on Guru, because there is another way on. So somebody writes, so a Swami after death goes to the feet of Guru. This is another nuisance. While sannyasa time we make it very clear, Naham Guru, Natvam Shishya. Neither I am Guru nor you are disciple, you understand? This is called Paramahamsa Sannyasa. But after the death, let us say, no, look, after I die, so if you people write me, about me, that Swamiji has attained the feet of Swami Ananda Saraswati. Now tell me, hey, at least you are degrading me, I don't mind, okay? Don't degrade my teacher. You understand? You have some problem, you can degrade myself. I don't have any issue because anyway I cannot complain. But at least don't degrade my teacher. Because if you say, I attended the feet of Swami Dayananda Saraswati, please understand, that means Swami Dayananda Saraswati is not liberated. So where is his feet available? And I have to go and catch. You understand? And I have to sit under. That means again Swami Dayananda Saraswati has to be a teacher somewhere. Again I have to go there as a student to be born there. I mean, what sort of parampara you are creating? You understand what I am trying to say? No, these are the things you will see everywhere in the Facebook and everywhere. It's a ridiculous way of looking at. That means you don't understand what you are writing or what you are talking. You understand? So that's why you are better be very careful in this regard. Sahamuktahiti. The one who abides within oneself, not even if Guru, Shastra, nowhere. That is not acceptable. And that's why it's being highlighted. Let us look at this. And what is that Atma Purnahiti? It is complete. And how is it? Akhanda Rupaha. Not Guru Rupaha. Not Shastra Rupaha. Remember this point. Akhanda Rupaha. That means what? It is completely no khanda, no separation at all. Absolute, infinite. And of course, tyakta akhila upadhi. And how it can happen? He says, look, below here, that's why we have to go a little bit here. Antar bahi swam stira jangameshu gyatva. So anta means inside, within. Bahi means outside, extra. Swam, one's oneself. Stira jangameshu. So that means stavara jangameshu. That things that is movable and that which is not movable. So with reference to this thing, knowing that, knowing as what? Knowing as one's own self. Means knowing that everything is me. So I am everything. I am good as well as I am bad. It is not like a Christianity, okay? This is the problem with some Swamiji also, okay? You understand? It is not, everything is me, everything is God, but devil is different from God. How can devil be different from God? If you say everything is God, poor devil becomes real. That's why in Christianity devil becomes more powerful. Do you understand? Because when you separate the devil from the God, that means you are destroying the whole concept of the God. Same thing also, you can say everything is God, but my Guru is different. I am everything, but Guru is different. So when I say I am everything, my Guru is also in everything. Because it shows that there is some weakness, there is something to work with. You understand? I am sorry, but this is the truth, this is the reality, okay? And today happens to be Vishwakarma Puja, so that's why I am a little bit more charged, okay? Nothing else. However, coming back to the point here, so the person who understands that everything is me, whether it's movable or immovable, and of course, he looks at this me as what? As the substratum, as the foundation. Means the person completely is based on one's own self. That's at a firm understanding. So that person, what happens? Bilokya tyakta akhila upadhi. So once this person sees this thing, now because of this understanding, automatically the person is able to give up, grow out of all sort of superimpositions, including me being a disciple. Because that is a very painful thing. Because if I remain a disciple forever, that means basically I am an emotional person. Please understand, it's a very serious issue. If I remain a disciple, instead of abiding within myself, if I try to catch hold of my Guru photo, that means basically I have not done proper nitidhyasana. This is the truth, this is the reality. I am very hard today, okay? But this is the truth, whether you accept it or not. Because it's like, have you not observed this? I see many parents, if they have some mentally retarded child, their body they will not leave the body so quickly. Either or they have to hand over the responsibility to somebody. That after I pass away, let somebody to take care of this mentally retarded child or physically disabled. Then only they can pass away. Why? Because the father or mother, the father in that person or mother in that person is emotionally attached to the child. Can you see this point? I have seen in many cases. They have to. And you can look at for yourself in your death dying circles. Whoever is attached to whatever. Attachment is what? Is nothing but emotionally dependent. So they look that, and unless they resolve that point, they cannot leave the body so quickly. In fact, in India we have this culture, especially in husband case. Wife case we don't do that. In husband case we do it very carefully. Suppose a husband is dying, gasping for breath, last moment, and wife is nearby. And if we discover that gasping breath becomes, continues, becomes more painful, we ask the wife to leave the place. We don't allow the wife to be there next to the husband. Because why? Because husband feels, after I go, what will happen to my wife? There is abundance. Even if the person is dying, because they are so close to each other, the husband thinks that moment, what will happen to my wife? Will my child look at or not? Whether she will be able to manage or not? Because that thought comes, that's why the husband prolongs for some time. So we make it very clear, separate it. And the moment you separate it, it becomes very easy. I have done many cases, to be very honest. And it has worked very well. Whereas in wife case, it also can happen. Suppose the wife was taking care of the husband, everything. Suppose let us say husband is sick or something like that. Same thing also, we have to remove the husband there. There is no doubt in it. If you don't remove the husband at that moment, definitely wife will not be able to die so quickly or peacefully. Because there is dependence. There is emotional attachment. Remember this point. Now if this thing happens to a Swami, to a wise person, here is a wise person. So while dying, catching hold of the Guru's photo. So what does it mean? Yes, definitely the person is better. Instead of catching hold of the cash box, catches hold of the Guru's photo is better, okay? So that means the person is definitely going to be born in somewhere and end up in ashram. That is very sure, okay? But is that truth? Is that reality? So that's why here is very clearly said that the person has to learn to grow out of all sort of superimposition. Means must not be part of any sort of superimposition. And that person of course looks at oneself as what? Purna and akhanda rupaha iti. The one who abides within oneself as these, only that person is what? Mukta iti. Liberated. So that means liberation is not that easy. Don't tell anybody that person is liberated. That person is enlightened. Because everybody in the social media, this person is enlightened, that person is enlightened. God's sake, as especially if you are exposed to the teaching by mistake, never ever say that that person is enlightened. And if you happens to be Indian, that is worst case, not only he is enlightened or he was enlightened, he is the incarnation of somebody. For God's sake, don't destroy that incarnation, okay? It's a double mistake, okay? So the person not only was enlightened, also incarnation. So please, God's sake, at least from you all, I don't want to listen to this sort of statement at all. Let us read the next. Sarvatmana bandha vimukti hetuh sarvatma bhavan na parosti kaschide drishyagrahe satyupapadyate shau sarvatma bhavosya sadatmanishthaya Again goes very well. Says, look how सर्वात्मना बंध विमुक्ति हेतु सर्वात्म अभावात् न परः अस्ति कश्चित्. So that means सर्वात्म भाव, the one who has the understanding. And what sort of understanding? That the whole universe, the entire universe, as one's own self. It is not like, my student, my ashramites, or my devotees are me. Like a common person says what? Me, me and me. You understand? What is me, my family? Me, me and me. Then next fellow, little developed fellow says, my family means me and my wife. Or me, my husband, whatever. Then third step is me, my wife, my child. Only one child, okay. Then other person, no, me, my wife, my child and child's family. But not parents, okay? Parents are outdated. Then another person, no, me, my family means me, my wife, child has grown up, my parents, they are really to be respected. This group have to be respected. Like that, each one start expanding one's own self differently. Now a wise person comes forward and says what? Me and my life is what? What is my self? My self is, my ashram, my ashramites, my devotees. Yes, you are definitely better than common person, no doubt in it. But that's not the truth either. So definitely you are not going to be liberated. So here liberation is what? Sarvatmana bhava iti. Then only bandha vimukti hetu. If you don't have sarvatma bhava, that means seeing, recognize, understanding as the entire universe as the self. If that is not understood, definitely the person will never become what? Free from the bondage. So he says, bandha vimukti hetu. This becomes hetu, the cause, the means. So what is the cause of this means to become free from the bondage? Sarvatmana bhavait. Seeing, understanding or recognize the entire universe as me, as the self. If there is a little bit difference, even if you expand, yes, only I look at my country as me, like all these politicians look at, pretend at least, okay? Remember, there is issue. No, my continent, but somebody wants to contest for world leader, to become world leader. My world is me. I don't see the difference. Again, depend, what about other worlds? Because once there is a little bit difference, we say udara mantaram kurude atatasya bhayam bhavati. We have already seen this in Yajurveda, in Taittiriya Upanishad. Once there is a little bit difference, automatically there is fear. Nobody can escape from this fear either. So that's why if I try to see myself differently than this, I cannot be free from bondage. Because bondage is not external, bondage is in me. So that's why he says, not only that, sarvatma abhavat iti. So that means what? If you look at, sarvatma, not abhavat, I will take. Sarvatma bhavat na paraha asti kaschit iti. So there is nothing greater or higher than this. What is that? Sarvatma Bhavait. This recognition or understanding the self as the universe or everything. And interestingly, Drushya Agrahe Sati Upapadyate also Sarvatma Bhavaha Asya Sadatmanishthaya. So that means what? Here, how it can be done? It says, look, this, when you understand there is nothing bigger, there is nothing greater than this. Drushya agrahe sati. So when you are seeing the world, you are perceiving the world, you are interacting with the world, but you are not part of it because of the vision of the totality. And because of that reason, there is objectivity, there is negation with reference to the world. You see the limitations of it. Like Karana Karya iti bhava. I am the cause and the world is the Karya. So Karanam never gets affected with the Karya. It is exactly like a father never gets challenged with the child when the child is 2 or 3 year old. When the same child becomes 20-year-old, don't ask me, okay? Only gets threatened, challenge. But when the child is 3 year, up to 5 year, okay? Nowadays 5-year child is so smart, okay? They challenge every moment. That's another point. Because the father thinks, I am the father, I am the mother. So that is called Karya Karana Sambandha. The father becomes Karanam, the cause, and the child becomes effect. Like the thread is never challenged or never feels challenged with cloth. As long as the thread understands that I am the base, I am the foundation of the cloth, will the thread feel challenged with the cloth? In fact, because the cloth is there, that's why the thread is more useful, more valuable, more available. So also me and this world. And interestingly, then what happens if that is what is being realized, understood? Sarvatma bhavaha asya sadatmanishthaya. So that means what? That person definitely is engaged in everything while being established in one's own self. So in short, I am the Karanam of everything. Not this body-mind complex, okay? Remember this point. This body-mind complex also is another Karya. So when I look at as Karanam, the foundation, the cause, no Karya world, no effect world can challenge me or make me feel uncomfortable or insecure. More of it we'll see on Monday. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.